There we go. We're live.
All right, welcome to another Thursday night of the Guitar Gear Locker. This is live show number 53, and this is pretty much the last show of 2025, believe it or not, until next week.
Year went by fast.
Yeah.
We have a lot of stuff we're going to talk about today. We're going to revisit. We're not going to beat a dead horse with the Tom Morello guitar, but we're going to revisit it a little bit since we've had, a couple weeks to digest it now. And then we want to talk about some of our gear year-end review for 2025, right? Some of the things that we either bought, looked at, liked, caught our eye, what we think, maybe if we have time, what we think about 2026 and beyond. Couple new guitar blunders that we've had here lately through the shop and that we know about, things like that.
Yeah.
So don't forget to like and subscribe if you're with us right now, wherever it is, down one of those ways. Like and subscribe and follow us so we can keep bringing you more content. And we have some more guests coming on after the first of the year. So I guess we'll get right to it. I'll throw it up on the screen. Man, all of a sudden I lost my voice. So the Tom Morello guitar. So first of all, we talked a little bit about like the foundation of the guitar. It seems like, it's made by Fenders, it has EMGs in it, had good hardware and all that kind of stuff. But I think, well, I know I did, you kind of get caught up into the story, and it caught me live last week with so it's a hammer and sickle, but it looks to be the Russian flag. So I found it odd, and I don't really care. So I'm going to start with that. I don't care. Put whatever you want on your guitar. Put whatever you want on your t-shirt, your bumper sticker. I literally don't care. I think everybody should be able to do whatever you want. It's a free country kind of thing. But ... I think that let's just use you. If you were on stage and you had something controversial, that wasn't politically correct or deemed to be politically correct, Tom Morello would be the first person to call it out.
Yeah, my career would be over.
What's that?
My career would be over.
Yeah, well, maybe not, but no, I just use you because you would be more likely to be on stage than me, right? So, but
yeah, if I had that on my guitar, sure, it would be over.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? If you had that on your guitar, it would be appropriate because your ancestry is from there, right? So,
yeah.
That it like in that doesn't, like I said, that when that caught my eye last weekend, I blurted it out. It didn't bug me. I could really care less. It's him. It's him. Like, he is the guy. If somebody was sporting something on their guitar that he found to be not politically correct, he'd be the first one forming a protest. So, and he has shown that. So going into it a little more, because somebody zinged me. They were completely wrong about my views in the comments, which I don't care. Whatever. I have thick skin, man. I spent a long time in the fire department. I can pretty much take anything anybody says. And I've lived with this big head and face for my entire life. I have thick skin. So let's see. Want to chat? Yes, somebody. The Real Goose Plays. Want to chat? Is it? So now that we have the different aspect, again, we have, if you notice on YouTube, there's a phone orientation and there is a television or computer screen orientation. So you'll see two feeds. So you're going to see people pop in the comments that wouldn't typically be here. Probably aren't guitar people. So anyways, so I kind of dug into a little bit because I have one thing. So, if you looked on the post by Fender when they posted the guitar, I thought it was odd. You kind of look at people's reactions. You could sit and read the comments. All the comments are just controversial. I'm just really surprised how controversial this guitar is and how it's really struck a nerve with a lot of people. But the funny part is when you can't read all the comments. There's just too many. But if you go by just the reaction, there's 59 hearts, 377 likes, and then 1.3 laughs. So, I mean, everybody's like, this has got to be a joke, right? But some of as I dug into it, he's basically trying to pay homage to Woody Guthrie. Why are there 6 people? 6 people where?
I don't
Why
know.
is there 6 people? I don't know. I don't see any people, do you? So we talking about this piece of junk again. We're not going to talk about it long, but
Yeah.
we're doing it for a reason. So I think so, Evan. I'm curious to get your 6 in the live stream. No, there's 18. There's not 6. So what I'm curious is, do we think that this is going to be a collector and like worth money, or is it just going to be a junk pile that everybody's going to spray paint and then make something else, make their own guitar? Because like I said, the guitar, like there's some good parts in the foundation of that thing. Oh my God, are we going to talk about this piece of junk again?
Yeah, I wouldn't buy it.
What's that?
I said I wouldn't buy it,
I definitely wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't buy it, but I think that in letting it fester for another week, and it even festered, with comments and stuff that the people said to us. You kind of dig into it, and you're like, why does he have a Russian flag? And he goes, well, it's not a Russian flag; it's the hammer and sickle, which it is. And he said it's not for the Soviet Union. The hammer and sickle represents the working class power and anti-corporate politics, not support for the Soviet Union. And then he goes into like anti-capitalism and all that. Now, and some of the things that I've looked at, he said a portion of the proceeds is going to go to, different charities or whatever. You don't know if that's the entire portion or some of the portion or what. So, I mean, maybe he's being cool about it and donating everything to charity. Who knows? But
Yeah.
and you know what? And who cares if he's not? If he's pocketing all the money, I don't care. Whatever.
Yeah.
Just admit you're a capitalist then.
Yeah.
Right? Just admit money's important to you. That's all I say.
Sure.
But anyways, let's see. Let me pop over. Tom Morello admits that the guitar plays like crap. Right. Well, but I think in all fairness, like I'm trying to be fair because I don't personally like him. Whatever. He's probably a good person, but he has some weird takes on stuff. I think his fans will buy it, but I don't think it's going to be some historic piece in the long run. Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah.
So back to our Carlton 5150. I saw that interview and he said the guitar played like crap, but I think that was the first one because it was just a hodgepodge of junk parts, is what he was saying. But this one we went over. I'm not gonna go over it again this week. We'll just talk about it for a second and move on. But like when we dug into it, it has a good, I think that's a Godot Floyd type bridge on it. They were Godot tuners, so it has some decent.
Yeah,
What's that?
You can't beat Godot. So
Right. I mean, it had some solid parts on it, so it's probably a good. I think everybody just got kind of hung up in the the personality and the irony behind it with him, him being him and anti-capitalist, but he's okay with putting this out. I'm just surprised. I'm surprised it's gotten as much attention as it has. That's why I brought it up again this week. Let's see. I would hope that they would do components otherwise with. Oh yeah, definitely. And I think they did. We went over it. Evan, I know you don't want to go over it again this week. You saw it last week. But yeah, I mean, they look like good solid components. His first one was junk. I don't know if it's worth, and not 7 right. That's where I was just getting ready to go. Yeah, I mean, it's basically a parts caster. Yeah, you could build one for like 600.
You could get a Warmoth. What's it? Warmoth parts, and a really nice guitar.
Right, exactly. Oh man, I bet you that was loud. Hold on, let me let me hit some. People are hitting my phone. They're not used to us doing this on Monday nights. Everybody stays away on Thursday. So yeah, I mean, we talked about it this weekend. We saw a lot of comments. We laughed about most of them. You know, not comments on ours, but just comments in general on the internet. We kind of chuckled during the week about it. What's that?
The comments on Fender's Facebook was pretty brutal.
Oh my God. I mean, if you want to go over a couple, it's funny because even if you put it into like Chat GPT and stuff like that, so it comes up with, you know, some of the controversy things. But I did want to touch on one thing before we go away from, but there's one comment said, arm the toneless. Instead of arm the homeless,
Yeah,
arm the toneless. I thought that was pretty funny. But here's the part. So one of the main things I wanted to bring up, I almost forgot about, and I'll read it. So there's a disclaimer at the bottom of this website here that I'm showing up on the screen right there. We are capitalizing on a communist and anti-capitalist symbol. Oh, is that the disclaimer? Oh no, that's not the disclaimer. Where is it? You would have to. Let me see if. So there's a disclaimer at the bottom of this. And no, it's not because it's on Fender's site. Oh, this is Fender's site. I saw it the other day. Oh, there it is. The artwork of this product includes a hammer and sickle symbol that may be restricted or banned in certain jurisdictions. By purchasing this product, blah, 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 blah. So, and it goes, you agree to indemnify, defend, and hold harmless Fender Musical Instruments Corporations and its affiliated. I'm not going to read the whole thing. It's right there. You can, if anybody's interested or not interested, I just think it's odd that you put out this guitar. I want to get it off my screen. It's going to dirty up my screen. Just being there.
Seen enough of that guitar.
Yeah, we've seen enough. But I think that's, so after I read down to the disclaimer, that when we talked about it, that's why I really wanted to talk about it, because we didn't hit on that. I didn't know there was a disclaimer. It's like, why would a guitar company put out a guitar that they have to put a disclaimer on? It's just odd. Like I said, I don't care. Put a monkey's ass on your guitar. I don't care. Or whatever you want. Like, everybody do what you want, whatever works for you. But this guy, if you put the wrong thing on your stuff, he would be the first to call you out on it, is my point. Then, belabored. Does it come with a Tom Morello proposal? Let's see. Glorifying communist bullshit. He says he's not. We have to take him at his word. Commie propaganda. No, he said it's for the working class people and, you know, anti-capitalist. So you have to take him for, I mean, that's what he says. He's the man.
Give all his millions back then.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, he's not taking any money. Come on. He would be against that.
I'll gladly take his money, you know.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm not throwing stones. Like, I'm all about it. I'm all about it. Just own it. Like, if you're gonna make money and you already have $1 bazillion dollars, make money, make more money. Who cares? Like, if you can do it, I can't do it. He can do it, right? Just like the bread lines are pulling in circle. Yeah. So yeah, so that's our controversial little issue. The rest is going to be fun. I think it's almost Christmas, so you know, we have one more day everybody has to work and then chill out for a couple days. Everybody can reset. So let's see, what is our next? I just saw the arm the toneless again. All right, something I wanted to bring up. So there's and all this is like in guitar news that I seen during the week. So there's a Danish/Swedish prog metal band named VOLA, VOLA. And one thing something just happened to them. So they just lost all their instruments in a fire. So a devastating fire over there. So I guess maybe some of it's because I used to be a firefighter and a fire investigator. And saw people lose a lot of stuff. And, I see a lot of guitars now with the guitar business. So, I think this is a good reminder, and we always like to do a little public service statement. So we'll go over the dry side of it, fire, and then humidity. So, like, make sure you understand what your homeowner's insurance insures, no matter where you are in the world. Make sure it's going to cover, they cover differently. So it can cover jewelry, weapons, and then, guitars. They cover them differently. So make sure your collection or your guitars are adequately covered, because you don't want to have something tragic happen and then you can't replace those. So there are companies you can go with your homeowners. In our case, I don't know how they do it elsewhere in the world, but in the United States, you can go with your homeowners, add it to your homeowners policy. I did that for 1 year, and then I decided to go. It's a lot like a collector car. There's insurance companies that specialize in instruments and guitars. So, your insurance company may look at it like, if you have an old guitar, they just may say it's an old guitar, it's not worth anything. So, you run that risk. Same with collector cars. So, you want to make sure, or not make sure, but it's best, I think, in my opinion, to go with a guitar insurance or musical instrument insurance kind of company. And you could Google them. There's a couple of them out there. I always forget the name of the one I'm with. I think they're in Florida. But the rates are pretty decent. They're not super expensive. But it's another good example. Like, I think their tour had to end because they lost everything. So make sure your collection, your tools, your work tools, guitars, basses, are adequately covered by insurance, so you can get that stuff taken care of. The other is, and I thought of this while I was walking in here tonight, like, I'm looking at my hydrometer in here, and I'm in a basement and I'm having a hard time. It's been pretty cold here. Keeping the humidity up. So make sure you keep your guitars humidified and keep your humidity at a good level, which could be kind of difficult. All right, so I'm going to start blowing through some of the comments again, and then we'll go to our next. We had a couple blunders we want to talk about, and successes. I'm getting a Leo Jam Monsoon for Christmas. Nice. New guitar day coming there. 67. Could get a football helmet. All right. It's crazy what insurance companies think guitars are worth. Yep. Yeah, and it's the same. I mean, we've kind of talked. I used to have a old Nova, and when you go to the insurance company, they want to, I think it was a 72. They wanted to insure it like a 72 car would be insured. So I had to go with somebody specialized in that. Same thing with instruments.
Yeah.
Anytime you have anything that's collectible and has value behind it, you need people that really know what they're doing.
You got like a 58 Les Paul,
Right. They're like,
insured.
yeah, it's probably worth $5, 1958.
Yeah.
I had a customer have a fire restoration, and they had a vintage Telecaster, and the insurance company only wanted to pay what is receipt. Yep. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh,
That's what I'm talking about. So, yeah, I won't belabor the point, but it's something that we've said it in a few past shows. Like, I've seen a lot of people lose a lot of stuff in fires, and sometimes they weren't adequately insured. And that, I think we don't realize, like, my insurance company, and I think a lot, tend to put collectibles, jewelry, cash, and guns. Believe it or not, they tend to lump them into one category, and they have a cap. And the cap isn't high at all. So that's just our little PSA. So blunders. So we've had, the last one is mine. I'll save that till last. Desert Island guitar rig. We asking?
Desert Island guitar rig.
Yeah. Okay, you go. You
Me?
go.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have either probably my ESP Eclipse or ESP Maverick, and 50 watt, I don't know, or like a EVH combo or something. And I think I'd be good.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Can't have too much on a desert island, right?
There's no electricity. You have to be acoustic. Wait a minute. Okay, so we can name whatever we want, right?
Yeah.
So I need gas, I need a generator, and then a
Ah,
JCM 800,
that's right.
and then the 58 Les Paul, right?
Yeah.
No, no, no. Back that up. I would take a 64 Strat, an
Mhm.
actual 64 Strat, JCM 800,
I'm good with that.
tube framer, generator, and gas to put in a generator.
Yeah.
No, was that good?
Yeah. That's
I think
acceptable.
so. Yeah, I think. I mean, yours isn't going to be loud because you can't plug it in anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'll have to borrow my generator. All right. So, there's been we talk a lot on this about things that like there's a lot of things that happen right with guitars. We've seen a lot of good guitars come through that are really solid, but we see some that aren't so solid that we talk about week in and week
Mhm.
out. So I just had one guitar that you loved last year, and we'll talk about it more later, I guess, is the Fender Ultra, Fender Strat Ultra.
Mhm.
So I just had one of those come in here, and it was brand new, and it had a bad neck pickup in it. And the customer brought it in. I took the cover off the pickup, and you could see that the wire was one of the coil wire was broken in there. So I reached out to Fender, just like I've reached out to Lace. I've reached out for you before I was a Fishman dealer. Reached out to them for bad pickups, and they sent me a pickup. They're just like the bottom line is they just want to get it fixed and get it back to the customer. They don't want to get hinked up with the BS side of it. So Fender is not that company though. So I reached out to them. My customer reached out to them, the guitar owner, and I got a response back. He bought it off of Reverb, I think. So he reached out to the person he bought it from. So they had to go to Fender. So Fender sent me something like, "Hey, thanks for reaching out, but send them to an authorized Fender repair shop, and we'll send them a pickup." And I'm sitting here thinking, like, if you need my business information, I can send you the EIN and all that kind of stuff. And you can see I pay taxes, I have insurance, all that kind of stuff. A real business, and every other company has done it, but they won't. So you would think that they would be all about this brand new guitar having a
Yeah.
pickup in it that works. So that was kind of blunder number one. The other one I actually have a picture of. So to set the stage for it, I have a customer call, and he's been in here a few times, and he buys probably his dream guitar. It's a great guitar, and we'll say what it is here in a second. And he said the pickup isn't working, and he got this from Sweetwater. So he reached out to Sweetwater, and Sweetwater's one that you can, if something doesn't work, you can reach out to them. They'll make it right. So I've had that in the past also. I'm sure Guitar Center probably would too. Fender will not. Um, okay, I'll come back to your question in a second. So, so he buys this guitar, and the bridge pickup wasn't working. I mean, it's been a few weeks ago now. So the bridge pickup wasn't working. So he brought it in. He said, "Hey, I talked to Sweetwater, and they're cool with you fixing it. If you can fix it, if it's a switch, if it's just needs to be resoldered, whatever."
Mhm.
And we're talking about an ES 335. So I'll set the stage for it now. 335. So he said Sweetwater said that if you do the repair, they'll reimburse me, make everything right. They're just all about like make the customer happy, get the guitar back in his hands. Cool. We
Mhm.
don't get lost in this authorized Fender person stuff. It's just a bureaucracy, in my opinion. Um, so he brings it in, and we take a look at it, and I'm just kind of looking down through the F hole, and I'll show you what I saw here in just a second. I just want to set the stage. So I'm looking down through the F hole to see if I can see the contacts and where they are. But before I go into the guitar, I noticed something, and I shined my light down in it, and he was here with me. The customer was here with me. Thank God. I mean, he's a cool dude, but and you could see that So I'll share it now. So I looked down in the F hole and I noticed, can you see the pointer on this? Does my pointer show up on this? It does or
Mhm.
doesn't?
Yeah, I can see
Okay.
it.
Okay, cool. So you can see right there, this is inside the F hole. The switch is back here. I was kind of looking from up this way, so I could see that right there. So there is a chip in the wood between the two veneers, if you will, and then they finished over top of it. And in this picture, it doesn't even show how bad it is, because it was hard for him to get down in there. I'm sure he took this picture and sent it to me. So I looked at it and I was like, "Hey, man, you don't even want to." No, I said, "So not being nosy, but I mean, what? I know that's a custom shop. How much are we talking on this? Because then you figure out like, is this something you can live with or not?" Uh,
Mhm.
this was a very, very, very expensive guitar. I'll leave it at that. It was over five, by a little bit. Well,
Mhm.
more than a little bit. So expensive guitar. So I looked at him, I was like, "Hey, this is brand new. It's a very expensive guitar. I don't care if the pickup works or not. Send it back. Call them because, I mean, you have this kind of stuff going on in there." And I think what I would be worried about, and you kind of can't tell from the picture, but what I would be worried about is, it hits something in the future, whatever, snags on something, and then it kind of bends that chip over, if you will. And then, you have a big chip out of the wood.
Yeah.
So he called them the next day and they did ask him if I did it. That's why I was glad he was here. They said, "Hey, when he was down in there," which I never went in there. So they said, "Hey, when he was down in there, could he have chipped it?" But you could see that there's stain over top of it. So it happened before they finished it. So he said, "Nope, I was standing right there with him, watching him, and we never went in that." So he texted me and we went back and forth a couple times and I was like, he had when he looked at this, he had his eye on the one above this. Oh, Murphy Lab. So this was a custom shop. He had his or a custom. He had his eye on a Murphy Lab, but it was a little more expensive. And I was like, "Hey, so when you're talking to them, because of the stuff that went on, like see if they'll upgrade you." And they did, to their
Mhm.
credit.
That's good.
So they upgraded it.
Mhm.
He got, a Murphy Lab guitar. They made it right. So, again, a blunder, not necessarily it wasn't a blunder from Sweetwater, but from Gibson, which, again, we don't hate Gibson, we just seem to bag on them a little bit, but it's not like we're making this stuff up.
Mhm.
So, yeah, so, I think we mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, that's why we wanna come back to it, and, it works because it's Christmas colors, right? It's red. So, yeah, so this is one, the, so the last one involved me, and I think the reason I brought those 2 up in the conversations that we've had is because it kinda sets the stage. Hold on, let me grab a sip of water. It kinda sets the stage for the next one, which involved me. But before I get to that, let's see. He has a couple. This guy's trying to get rescued with that decibel level. There you go. Look, I'm not Gilligan. I'm not hanging out. They had a radio though. The professor had a radio. I'm not Gilligan. I'm not hanging on the island. I'm swimming.
That little radio.
Or, you should offer like a subscription warranty package. I think all the lines of cars extended warranty. Yeah, well, I don't need any warranties. If he's talking about my Nova, I don't need that. I got rid of that problem. Best day of my life. So, all right. So the next one is me. So, we and a lot of people bag on Guitar Center, and this is a multifaceted blunder. If we want to keep calling it a blunder. So, I don't know why we talked about Billy Strings. I've been watching Billy Strings a little bit. I have a Martin guitar, but let's talk about my Martin guitar. So I bought it in 2012. No, I bought it in 2014. It's a 2012, and it's just like it's a jumbo. They call it a jumbo. I thought the Dreadnought was a little bit large back then. So I went with the jumbo, liked it a lot, but I always noticed my string height was high and uncomfortable. So, never I got it the best I could, had it set up a couple times. This was before I opened my business. Finally a luthier told me, he was like, "Hey, this guitar needs a neck reset. The neck angle is off on it." So that kind of sets the stage. So I've been dealing with this guitar that has crappy now I can cheat it now. I know how to cheat it. I kind of back bow a little bit, which gives me a little bit of a buzz sometimes, depending on what the temperature is upstairs in my house, because that's where it is. But it's just something I've dealt with through the years. So I don't know what hit me, but I was like, you know what? I need to upgrade. I'm going to keep that. And that'll be like, if I want to play on a back deck, I'll use that Martin. But I'm going to upgrade and get a better Martin. So I found a D28 Modern Deluxe Dreadnought that I liked a lot, and went down to our local guitar center. They had one there and played it and liked it. But it had been played a bit in the store. So I ordered one. They ordered one at the store. Very helpful. Transaction went very smooth. Um, and so I had even like I think I mentioned to you like how impressed I was when it got here. Like even the UPS guy was cool about this. So the UPS guy, my UPS guy is cool. So he knows I'm a guitar business, and he knew it was a guitar. So he was like, "Hey, I made sure I knew this was a guitar coming in." So and he plays guitar. I think he was like, "I put it in a nice warm place on the truck, and I made sure it didn't get banged up, stayed upright." He was really cool about it. So got it in, and it was packaged nicely, like really protected, double boxed. And then you open it up, and the beautiful guitar has a checklist on top of it where the person, I think in Kansas City, um, checked it out, and he, this isn't a big thing, but he marked the little checkbox for checking the electronics. It didn't have electronics in it, but who really cares? I don't care about that stuff. But he checked it out. So, I let it kinda acclimate to the house because, it was out in the cold. It was super cold last week here, if you remember. So, let it acclimate and then, unboxed it later on and, when it wasn't cold anymore. And, I noticed that the string height or the action was high on it, but I was like, "Yeah, whatever." I mean, it's probably settling out. It's getting used to my climate, my humidity levels in here.
Mhm.
I'll let it go overnight, see how it looks tomorrow. So, the next day, I picked it up, still had pretty high string height on it. So I ran it. All you have to do is run a straight edge down. So best practices on an acoustic guitar, if you run a straight edge down the neck, it should fall right on top of the bridge, not the saddle, but the bridge. And on top of it, or maybe even a little bit above it. That tells you the neck angle is correct, and you can, get some decent action on it. Um, so I found so it was below it. It was probably worse than my old guitar, my old Martin. So, like I said, you and I talk about this we talk about it when we're not on here. We talk about some of the stuff that we see with guitars and my my weekly call, right? So wait a minute, intermission. So I need to remember to take that thing out of here when we do this. Yeah, it's my mom calling.
Oh, you're in trouble.
Yeah, no, 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 no. You could tell like she calls every couple of nights at this time of night. Anyways, so back to the story. So it's worse than my old one. So and I'm gonna cut parts of this story out because it's already been too long. So I contact Martin, which I had already contacted him on my old guitar, and they didn't even answer me. So contacted them through their website, site, contacted them on this guitar, didn't even answer me. I called them to see if Martin has a lifetime warranty on their guitars if you're the original buyer.
Mhm.
So I tried to talk to them to see if I could send my old guitar up to Pennsylvania to their factory. They blew me off. They were pretty much like, "Yeah, we're swamped up here. Just find somebody in your area," kind of thing. I felt the guy on the phone acted like he didn't want to talk. Is the feeling that I got. So fast forward back to this guitar. So I go down to our local guitar center in Fredericksburg, and they were very nice. Uh, they handled it. We kind of I asked if they could call somebody because nowadays, like Guitar Center is trying to up their game, right? So you can now look and see the individual guitars if you look at the website that are for sale, the weight, and you can even they offer you a video conference call with them if you want to see it through a video
Oh,
conference.
oh wow.
Well, and they
Yeah.
told me this while I was buying it, so I was like, "Well, hell, if they can do all that, then they can certainly lay a straight edge on it and make sure the next one." Because I wanted the guitar. This wasn't like, "I'm gonna take it back because I don't want it, and want something else." I wanted that guitar, so I said, "Maybe you could have them lay a straight edge down it." They could I mean, I'll trust a word. If they say it's straight, it's straight. So, we didn't think we could make that happen. I was like, whatever. I'm just gonna. And they were cool. I was trying to be cool. It's like, okay, I'll just return it. So I returned it. So I'll cut parts out. I reached out to Guitar Center again, like not our Guitar Center here, local, but the main Guitar Center that you will get through the 800 number.
Mhm.
And I talked to somebody on there and it seemed like it wasn't a guitar guy. I could be totally wrong, but he said, "Well, I'll send you a quote," because he said, "You can't exchange it, but you can return that one, and I'll send you a quote for another one." So he sent me a quote that was for more money, a lot more money than what I paid for it originally. So it kind of gets in the weeds after that. I kind of like I actually kind of did get my ass up on my shoulders with the way he handled it because I think he was trying to get kind of douchey and like maybe take the sale from the local guy, which I kind of took exception to. Um, so I go back down. This was before I went to the store. So I get down to the store, do all that. I come back that night. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna let them know. So I go online with their like you can write a comment, like it's not email, but it's through their website. So I laid out what happened to them and to Martin. Radio silence. To this day, I haven't heard anything from either one of them.
Wow.
So, this salesman at the local, guitar center, he was cool. Like, he told me, he said, "Hey, I'm off tomorrow. I'll call you the next day and see if we can make this happen." And by then, I was just not in the mood anymore, it was like, "Okay, I've had my fill of this."
Mhm.
I didn't wanna even talk about it. I was actually busy working on a guitar when he called, and I was like, "You know what? I'm not interested." I said, "So, my original intention was tonight I was going to, um, take a pair of scissors to my gear card while we were on here." That was my plan. So I was like, "Hey, I'm done. I'm done," because there's things that I've tried to buy over the last year. The EVH 5150 stealth amp. I tried to buy that. I tried to buy that Mirage. All this kind of stuff. The money I tried to give them, and I could never get a deal. Not with the local store, with the online store, which was probably my mistake. So, I told him that. I'm sure after that, he went and told, the manager, Steve, who is a great guy. And to
Mhm.
his credit, he called me back. I was still working on a guitar, and I was done talking about it, so I didn't answer it. But he followed up with an email. So and this is like, you go from 0 to hero with Guitar Center here. Like Guitar Center corporate or whatever they wanna call them, big fail. Still haven't heard from them, but he followed up with an email, and the email was like he owned it and he understood what the problem is. And I've known him long enough and known of him long enough that I know that he wants to do right by this local store and he wants to get good stuff in there and he
Mhm.
wants to do well. And, you know, no, I don't care what business you're in, guitars are fire. Sometimes you have a bad day, right? So even in my business, we have bad days. So there was something, and I won't go into all the way he worded the email, but it was how honest and how much he cared about my experience and customers' experience and this store that I was like, all right, well, I'm going to sit down. I didn't want to call back and I know I'm making this in a long dramatic story, and it's me being a drama queen at the end of the day, right? Not. So, I wanted to get my thoughts together. I didn't want to just like call and just, blurt a bunch of stuff out. So I organized my thoughts, sat down that night and wrote a long email, which I was kind of embarrassed about how long the email was over a guitar. But
Yeah.
then he wrote me one back that was a little bit longer than mine, which was really cool. I really liked the way he handled it and the professionalism. So, and he said, "Hey, from now on, I want to make sure," and I think he knows I have a business, and he wants to make sure, like, I buy a lot of stuff. I buy a lot of stuff personally and for other people's guitars. So, he wanted to make sure it was right and that, we could do business in the future. So, the next day I called him. They had pictures. They laid a straight edge on it. Guitar was great, looks great. I'm sure it's going to play great when it gets here, which tells you I bought it. So, I just can't say enough good things about the way he handled that, and I look forward to working with him in the future. Not really like Guitar Center as a whole has a lot. I think they need to come down and take some lessons from him on how he handled this problem, because we hear this week in and week out, both on his podcast and while we're talking and people we talk to. They bag on them a lot, and we do too. We do too. And if you work for them and you care about your job, which I know he does, you take exception to it. And I think he takes it personally, and he wants to make sure that he rights the wrong. And he did in my case. And I ordered the guitar, and it's probably gonna be here in a few days. So so it was. I think these are all blunders that we talk about all the time, and I explained to him why I felt like this, because, I don't necessarily know that it's, so I could say this, it wouldn't happen if it was Sweetwater. I will say that.
Mhm.
But I also don't have a local Sweetwater. So, there's a trade-off. So I have personal contact here in Fredericksburg, where our store is, where I can go and personally deal with them on a professional level. So that's the trade-off. Now, when you go to their corporates, that I think that there's a level up on Sweetwater. Let me show. Evan's probably going to say, "All right, shut up, dumb story." When someone in a music store really loves their job, dealt with so many half-ass salesmen over the years. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I can tell you, like, I don't know if Steve will watch this, but, I when he came to town, he doesn't know this, but when he came to town, people knew him from where he came from, and they were like, "Hey, he's a big fan of PRS. He wants to bring PRS," and the complaint here was, like, you can never go in there and find higher end guitars, so, he tried to change that, but, there were things like it used to be for our. I'm actually just talking about this local Guitar Center here. I don't know about the rest. But you could go in there and you knew the people and they were there all the time. They knew you if you went in there frequently and spent money like I did. But then I think COVID happened, and then we all, like I told him, he had a hard time hiring people. We were having a hard time hiring people in the fire department. So you can hire them in local government here. So everybody was having a hard time. So, but I've seen in this store here, I have personally seen where I knew everybody to I would go in there every time and see a different face, and I knew nobody. And now we're back again. I'm starting to see more familiar faces when I go in there, and they're friendly. We've talked about their guitar tech in there. He's a good guy. I chat with him all the time. Great guy. So, yeah, so I think the local stores, and really, I think sometimes we look at it as, and I know I do, I'm guilty of this. Like, we really need to go to the local stores and the mom and pops, and we do need to go to those, but we
Yeah.
also have to keep in mind that, like, this guy, like the guy I said like about 50 times right there, the guy in Kansas City, I think was trying to take the commission from the guy here, the salesman here. And the salesman here is in our community. Like he is here in our community, so we can say they're a national chain, but he is a worker here in our community, and he's going to go out and spend money. He's going to make money. He's going to spend money. He's going to add to our tax base, and he's going to have to see us out and about. So he wants to treat us right, is the way I look at it. You know, the guy on the phone, maybe he won't give you that personal attention that you can get in the store. So it was that was a long story for I have a kick-ass guitar coming in. I'll put it up on the screen here in a second. I have the link to it, but it's a nice acoustic. Like I said, I wanted to upgrade my acoustic. At the end, I got a good deal, a good fair deal. We had a lot of great conversations. I learned a lot about our local store. I was happy to hear it. I was happy to learn it, and I look forward to doing business with them in the future. But at the end of the day, the guitar, not the retailers, but the guitar builders and the manufacturers, man, I still don't get this whole concept of building a guitar. And I know they're made out of wood and everything moves and all that kind of stuff. I say it all the time, but building a 335 that was very expensive,
Yeah.
that made it through quality control with that kind of a pickup that doesn't work and that chip in it. How
Yeah.
does that happen?
Yeah.
How does the Fender make it out with a pickup that doesn't work? I just don't get it. Like, how do you buy so this wasn't a cheap Martin. How does that make it like, at what price point do I have to make it to before Martin will talk to me
Yeah.
about a guitar that they had a improper neck angle? And so, and at the end, in summary, before I show the guitar, you know, so the neck angle was a little off. Would, you know, anybody really notice it? Probably not. That you could go in there and crank on the truss rod and probably get decent. But in my opinion, if you're paying, like, this is gonna be my guitar, right?
Yeah.
This is not gonna be what I'm gonna flip. I play an acoustic all the time, probably 10 times a day.
And this is an expensive guitar. This isn't, not even $1,000. It's like, and that's not, you're talking a couple grand here, for
Yeah,
acoustic
but
guitar.
we should expect a $500 guitar to be put together. We've talked about the stuff
Absolutely.
that's coming in from Korea and Indonesia now.
And you do, and
They're
you,
getting
and you
better.
see, yeah, you see guitars like that they're supposedly on the lower end and, come out perfect.
Yeah.
And then you see Gibson, like I think a friend of mine who got a Les Paul, I remember, and he saved up for it, was putting money on it, and got the guitar, and the frets are hanging off on the side.
Right.
And it's just like, how does that happen? How does that pass? Quality control. So yeah, so there it is, huh?
There you go. This is the Martin D28. I didn't really want any electronics in it. I didn't
Mhm.
get the pickup. If that's something I never play, through a PA or anything. If I want to, hey, good thing is I'm a Fishman dealer. I'm right outside that door right there. There's a bunch of systems. So yeah, great guitar. I played the one that was here just a little bit. And it played pretty good for even for having high action on it. But this is their modern, so there's a lot of things that they kind of changed up with holding the kind of historical side of the D28 Dreadnought. But I like it. I liked how it played. Good guitar. I'm looking forward to seeing it. So that was a long ass story, wasn't it? But I think, like I said, I just think that
Well, we need more Steves out in the
yes,
customer service,
yeah,
because that's something that unfortunately doesn't exist very much these days, is customer service across the board.
yep,
And he made it right, and
right,
yeah, I mean, and like you said too, it doesn't matter if you're spending $500 or $5,000.
right, right.
There's no excuse for things like that.
Right. And there's companies out there that are making it right. You and I had a issue with a Fishman pickup, and they sent one in the mail, and it was here in a couple days. You were
Yeah,
back up and running,
yeah,
and they were good to deal with. And Sweetwater made it right on that Gibson.
Mhm.
So, there are people that care, and I mean, he could have easily blown me off. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, the email was really impressive. Like you know me, I'm a pessimist. So it takes a lot to make me go like, huh, wow, that was sincere. Because
Yeah.
usually I think somebody's trying to pull something over on me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's not me. That comes from years of working in public safety. You just get jaded a little bit.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's enough of that. Steve, if you're watching, thank you again. Um, Good guy. He's a credit to his profession. Um, so let's see. Now let's talk about last year, and we wanted to hold it to about an hour. Last year, so you want to go over my hits and misses of last year,
Sure.
and then we'll go over yours.
Mhm.
Um, so I made some purchases. We did those on. I mean, we talked about those here. Hell, I think I bought one while we were talking about the NAMM show. The Reverend Kingbolt, which I think is probably the worst guitar I ever bought by a mile.
Mm.
And I I blame the guy from Reverend that sold me on it while we were watching the NAMM show. Because remember, he said, this thing has a brass block like Vernon Reed, and it has this and it has that.
Mhm.
And I got it in, and the frets weren't level. The frets were super, super sharp. It had crazy fret sprout on it. So I had to work on it a lot before I even got to play it. It sounded pretty good. Like after I got done, it was decent. But
Mhm.
then I tried to like everything here with the Floyd, everything that you have with the Floyd, we
Mhm.
put blocks on all of it. We FU tone all of it.
Yeah.
So what I know I talked about this for anybody that watched it, it'll be a repeat again. But when I went to put a brass block on that particular Floyd, I wasn't able to get it to seat properly because of the fine tuner adjusters, the little fingers, if you will, that go up underneath of it. So that was a big miss. Alex made me buy an EVH 5150 50 watt.
I made 'em. It's not my fault. I'm sorry.
he, so he twisted my arm.
Yeah.
No, actually, I went over and played his and liked it so much. I felt I needed to have one. Um, so that was a hit. A good amp. Like it a lot.
And I have to just chime in here real quick that I played through that amp today at Roger's house through
Oh,
his
that's right.
Les Paul studio with his custom made not PAS, P90s. And
Humbucker size
wow,
P90.
yes, and wow, did these P90s sound amazing. Like this is like that guitar was like straight out of Billy Gibbons. Yeah, the
Yeah,
tone out of that thing is
yeah.
just amazing. So those pickups sound amazing. So
They sound good, but they're kind of ugly.
yeah, no, they look great. I love
Well,
this.
that's because you're not OCD like me. If you look like I had to custom make these, so I had to cut the bobbin and have to get all the wire on it. It's a long story, but
Mhm.
so when if you use the hollow pickup covers, you have to put a piece of material in there. And when I did it, I didn't get the poles exactly straight, but which is cool because they're kind of punk-ish.
Mhm. Yeah.
So you can tell they're handmade for sure. I think that's the cool part of it.
Mhm.
So, yeah, he was over here jamming earlier. So, I find the granite block is way better than a brass on a brass on a Floyd. Almost too much with JB, so bright. Granite? Gran is that right?
Granite, a granite block. Way better than brass on a
Not
Floyd.
granite. Oh, the Tombstone. Gotcha. Oh, and
Oh,
that's better? Really? Okay.
huh.
We'll be checking that one out. That's good to know. The stone tone. All right. And it's better than brass? How about titanium? So I've tried the titanium and the brass, and maybe a little different,
Yeah.
maybe. So, but you know what? It was an unfair advantage because I put it on that stupid Kingbolt and it wouldn't seat properly. So I had a block on it, but I mean, maybe it wasn't getting all of the tone upgrade it needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, the may I need you can't afford. Oh, okay, so yeah, the titanium. I wouldn't pay that much either, but they had a killer sale on them one time last year, and I picked one up, and I'm a dealer, so um, yeah, so they were selling them pretty cheap. I mean, cheap for titanium last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I like that. He's like, I can't afford that. Yeah, that's pretty steep for all of us, I think. But they did have a good sale, and I caught it during that. All right, so again on my list, ESP LTD Mirage Deluxe 87 hit. I think
Yeah.
that was a good buy, and especially I put the GravTech, and we need to go over that. We keep saying we keep
Yeah.
forgetting, but
I picked it up today, but I didn't get a chance to really check it
yeah,
out. But it
we
good.
put the so I put the Fishmans in it, Fishman single, Fishman modern.
Mhm.
It has a gold bridge in it, so I matched that with the pickups, black single and gold humbucker, and then I put the rechargeable battery in it. So that's kind of a demo guitar. That's why I did that. And the GravTech Unlock Nut, which I like a lot. I think you all should try those out unless you like locking down your nut and fiddling with fine tuners. I don't like it.
Yeah.
And then ta-da, the PRS Modern Eagle V.
Mhm.
Uh, that I only have only one constructive criticism of that guitar. I love how it plays. I love how it sounds. It can sound pretty stratty. It can sound pretty gnarly. But when I could take a song, I forget what song I was playing, but just the same song. So play it with my R0 Gibson and play the same song with that, and the the notes and the chords don't sustain as long on the PRS as they do on the Les Paul.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's the only thing I found with that. But that's probably my favorite. So then I'm gonna have to pop yours up on here. So we're gonna share some screens and then I'll shut
Keep
up
in
on you.
mind, I haven't played any of these guitars, but these were the
They're just your
guitars,
picks.
yeah, that stood out to me that looked interesting.
Yeah. So, and I will pop those up one at a time. I think. All right, they will be in no particular order, Alex.
Mhm.
Oh, maybe they will. I'll try to go in the order you sent them to me.
Ah, all right.
There you go. So the
So,
first is Lux Tone.
yeah, yeah. Is there any other photos on there? Yeah. The back of the neck
Um,
and all that stuff? Should be. Yeah, there you go.
oh, there you go. All
Yeah,
right.
so,
So,
yeah, so
oh,
that's a Lux tone, and it's kind of like, an Explorer shape, and I just love I like the relic guitars, but n not when it's overly relic, and, yeah, that thing just I don't know, it really striking looking. It looks very comfortable to play. Now I haven't played it, but, yeah, but that guitar really stuck out to me. I like the shape and, yeah, the neck looks super nice if you look at the back of that, you know? Yeah, look at that one, I
oh
mean,
yeah.
look at the
Look,
relicing that was done on these guitars too. Really
oh, there you
impressive.
go.
Yeah, and, these are, set necks,
Mhm.
and I believe ebony board, and I think it's mahogany as well, all mahogany neck, mahogany body. Um, but yeah, I don't know, that guitar really I'm not too much of, like, an Explorer guy, but I don't know, for whatever it is, that guitar really stuck out to me, and, I've been very curious about Lux Tone in general. Um, so if there's any Lux Tone players, Is that a low profile?
It looks like it is,
I think it is. Yeah.
and it's recessed, right? It's
Yeah.
definitely not flush mounted. He digs
Yeah.
a burnt look on that one, yeah. So do you see one of these in your future?
We'll see. I
Well,
like that one too. I mean, look at
yeah.
that. Look at that.
Well, it's kinda like
Relic.
Explorer meets Hagstrom, right? Like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
shape from
Maybe.
down here?
Yeah. We're an Iceman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's it.
I don't
Alright,
know.
so
Yeah.
we'll go to your next one. My 15 clicks to share a screen. I'm saving the one for last.
Tom Morello.
We'll never talk about him again, we promise.
Yeah.
We're
So,
done with that subject.
so this is the ESP LTD Andy LaRock signature model, and it is an Horizon. Now it's got my favorite spec with the hum single
Uh-huh,
configuration. I believe that's like a quilted maple top on there. Um, Now, this guitar, if anybody's familiar with the Horizon, Horizon's usually 25/5 scale, which is 24 3/4 scale on this guitar. Um, and I've seen a lot of really, really good reviews on these as well, like through the roof, of everybody that's reviewed them. But yeah, I mean that guitar really, and I like the finish.
yeah.
Over the years, I've got more into colors, which I was never really much of crazy colors and things like that. I think that guitar, like I've seen some videos that you could really see. I've actually seen Andy playing it live, that
Uh-huh.
guitar. In fact, before it was came out. But yeah, that guitar stuck out to me. I believe it's just one volume, three toggle switch, and
Yeah,
yeah. So,
pretty straightforward.
mhm.
And let's see,
Built to shred, obviously.
right? That was oh, here we go. Here's the next one.
Yeah, and that one, I don't, I've as of lately, I've been playing my old bolt-on guitars, and I've been getting more and more into playing the bolt-on and just the feel of the neck. And that thing, I really like that finish. It's like what do they call it?
A
Sandblasted?
Sandblast, yeah.
Yeah, and pretty much straightforward. That guitar, it's I believe it's an ash body.
Right.
One humbucker. You got the hip shot bridge
Mhm.
and 24 frets, Madagascar, I guess, ebony board, which is 24 frets, and it's a roasted maple neck, one volume, no nonsense. Now, they made this guitar, a version of this guitar, I think a few years back, but it was 22 frets and it had a Fishman Classic in there. So this has the
Mm.
Fishman Modern.
Oh,
So
okay.
I don't know, but that one really stuck out to me.
Yeah.
You know, it looks like a super comfortable guitar. And I could foresee one of them in my future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
So
Let's
that one
see.
stuck out.
Alright, the next one is we've covered all of those.
Yeah, and then this is the Mick Thompson guitar, which also is a hip shot bridge, but that is a hip shot brass bridge, I think.
Okay.
His Fishman signature pickups in there. I do like the how the pickups are mounted too.
Mhm.
It does seem like it does add a little bit more sustain, maybe, to the guitar.
Okay.
At least in the guitars that I have with the pickups mounted. Now the switch, I believe, is for the voicing, I believe.
Right.
And I think there's also a push-pull on that as well, so it's like, I don't know if it's like 3 or 4 different voicings on that guitar.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, for one humbucker. So, but yeah, I think, he's got, I don't know if there's a Goto locking tuners or what's on there, but I think for the price point, it looks like it's really, you got all really, like, high-end components on that guitar. I like the finish.
Yeah.
Um,
You know, it's
oh,
interesting to me that the Mick Thompson set, because I carry them
yeah,
here, and in his signature guitar, he has 1 pickup.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Isn't
yeah,
that interesting?
yeah, yeah. I
No.
think there's more to come from him.
Oh,
Pretty
I imagine. Alright, we
ESP.
have
Yeah,
another
that one stuck out to me.
ESP has gotten boring in the last 5 years-ish, and, you know, somebody else did tell me this, not making that up.
I don't
My opinion,
Yeah,
I own 4 LTDs, they cancel Kirk Hammett's, goal. You think?
I don't know, I disagree with that. My only complaint is, I think they've come out with a lot of really interesting, cool LTDs the last few years. They have not done E2, the ESP
Oh,
standard guitars in a few years, so we'll see what happens in 2026, but, and I like the last batch of the, E2s that they came out with.
right.
But yeah, no, I think they've been really making
Well, they
some.
kinda got behind, right? They got backed up and behind.
Yeah, yeah, they were definitely, since the pandemic, it really, screwed them up along with a lot of other guitar companies, so I think that's one of the main reasons you
Wouldn't
haven't
it be
seen.
nice when we can make it to a time in history where we don't say, "Since the pandemic"?
Yeah, yeah.
Before I share this one, I just saw a comment pop up. We'll hit that one, and then your last guitar.
Mhm.
I don't care for Mick, but when they announced him as their new artist, they showed him using the Mirage with the Jawbreaker paint job. I was gonna buy one. Why didn't you?
Yeah. Mirages are fantastic.
There's still time, and you can probably get it before Christmas.
Actually, it's pretty good, time to buy a guitar on the used market.
Oh, he said they didn't make it. Okay, I'm dumb.
Well, Nick has a bunch of old ESPs, so it's probably
Yeah.
one of the older ones.
Okay, well, you can't buy it and have it before Christmas then. That's right, he's like, "Dumbass, they didn't make it." I'm too busy trying to read and not screw up what I'm reading to pay attention to what I'm reading. Alright, let's see, your last one. I like that, the last one, "They didn't make it." Alright.
Yeah, and,
I like that, "Yeah."
yeah. So, a Gibson, actually, but, I do remember these guitars in the, mid-80s. A friend of mine had one too, and, yeah, it's just a reissue of, like, I guess, probably, like, 84, 85. Those years they were making, these guitars. Now that one, yeah, I believe that's it. It doesn't have the pick guard, and, yeah, I
That's a
don't know.
Matt Sword kinda guitar, right?
What's that?
Matt Sword kinda guitar.
Yeah, yeah.
Doesn't he do, Gibson
He
Vs?
well, yeah, he plays all Gibson V's for the
Yeah,
most part, but, I don't know about that model that he has, but yeah, if you notice, are a little bit different than the 70s or the traditional Gibson
uh-huh,
V's where you don't have a pick guard on there,
right.
and, I don't know, I always liked them back then. I wanted one, and,
I don't know why, but
it's
I
cool
love
to
the
see them do a
headstock.
reissue of that. What's that?
I love the headstock.
I would love to see them do reissues of the late 70s Bs with the flat headstock, but, we'll see. I think I've seen some, like, limited edition custom shops. I think they did
Yeah,
maybe at one point,
yeah.
but, yeah, I thought that was a cool guitar, so I don't know,
Yeah.
there wasn't that much that really caught my attention, and I have to say the number 1 guitar that really caught my attention was that Lux Tone. I just thought that was really
Yeah,
sharp. 'Cause
yeah.
there's actually a video online, I guess if you go on their YouTube channel, you'll see a
Right.
video of that guitar. Beautiful.
They make some good stuff. He said, "No shade. You guys are blessed. We try to be." And thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for coming on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we appreciate everybody joining us, and especially it makes it really easy when people are, chatting
Mhm.
up in the comments. Kinda reminds me of the V2 they did in the
Yeah.
'80s.
Yep. Yeah, like, that guitar is basically based on, I believe, like, 80 probably 1984, 85, 86 models, and the V2 probably stopped in, what, 83, something like that. They stopped making them. Um, V2s are cool too, but I think they go for a bit of money now. You get the V2s.
Yeah.
So, you know.
So, real quick, we had somebody ask us, I think things are starting to trickle out about NAMM. I think after the holidays, we're gonna hear a lot about. Oh,
Yes, I
that
just saw the comment. Pat from Hell. Yes,
yeah,
Pat has, yeah, I think he's got 2 of them actually, and that's got the headstock, like the, Explorer headstock on it, which Dave Mustaine actually did now has on
right,
his, signature, Gibson V.
right.
So, yeah, that's right. That's right, Pat. Yeah, I think Pat's owns 2 of those.
Yeah.
Great
So,
guitar.
I think things are starting to trickle out. After the holidays, we're gonna probably hear nonstop NAMM leaks, I would think. I've heard
Yeah.
a couple little things, but nothing big, like little teasers. But so personally, what and I'll add in afterwards, what do you think the trends are gonna be for 26 and beyond?
Hmm. You know, I'm gonna predict something that you will see more 6 strings and 7 strings.
Yes. Yes.
So, that's one thing I will predict. Not because I'm not a fan of 7-string guitars, but it seems like, they're starting to lose their lackluster with, younger people, and they're all wanting 6 strings. Um, that's one thing I'll say.
Right.
I don't know. How about yourself?
So I agree. Um, and only because I see that now. Especially the younger the player nowadays, the more strings, the thicker the strings, and the different tunings. We've
Mhm.
talked about that a little bit. I think that's going to continue to be a thing. Um, I think the pointy guitars are going to stay strong.
Yeah.
I think it seems like the
But
younger
but
players
but even
now.
traditional guitars are still are resonating with a different type of youthful guitar player. You got players like who you, turned me on to, Billy Strings, right? Billy
Yeah,
Strings,
yeah.
I've been watching him, I'm just like, "Wow, this guy is
Yeah,
amazing." And, and then you have people like, what is his name? Marcus, King,
Marcus
right?
King, yep, yep,
Yeah, great player, great guitar player, bluesy country mix kind of vibe, rock and roll mixed in there too,
yeah,
and just really, really good and real soulful.
right,
It's
right,
not like a carbon copy, of something.
right.
Whereas you have a lot of these younger, musicians that just try to copy something, but he's definitely got something special going on.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, so you have those that the youth that are more you know
like
more
traditional style guitars.
yeah, to the traditional
Yeah,
stuff, and
it's funny, I was just getting ready to say that when you said it.
yeah, and then you have obviously the young metal shred guys and
Yeah.
stuff, and so I don't know.
I think music, so, I mean, in addition to guitars, like heavier, lower tuning, heavier strings, heavier music. It seems like the younger generation is really into heavy music nowadays.
Yeah,
Like, and I'm not talking about, I mean, you hear the ones that are into Sleep Token and the metalcore, but I mean, I don't I told you about that one kid that came in here. He's like 4 foot nothing. I asked him who his favorite band was. He said Acid Bath. It blew my mind. So they're into all that old school stuff. I think that we're gonna see that keep building. I think this is going to be a big year for metal and in particular death metal.
And rock music and blues music,
Yeah. Yeah.
I love to see that because we need to preserve that music. So there's a younger crowd that is championing that
Yeah.
that music now, and very appreciative of it. So
Well, and I think
yeah,
that that's a combination of 2 things. Smart kids because they're growing up listening to the crap that's on the radio now and saying, "I need to listen to blues or old stuff
yeah,
because it was better." There's some new stuff out now that's halfway decent.
hmm
And the second and more importantly, good parenting.
yeah, yeah,
My
yeah,
my kid listens to cool music, so,
yeah, yeah,
that's because that's
yeah.
what she heard.
I think that they're looking for something that's genuine,
Yeah,
and they want something real in their life. And,
right.
they don't want to be force fed this plastic bullshit. And
Yeah, yeah,
so, yeah, and they see through that, and it's really really amazing thing to see. The how all these young kids that are so into the old music.
right,
It's
right.
great.
Yeah, well, and so my last thing and I know people are gonna hate to hear this, but man, fewer I think there's gonna be more modelers and fewer tube amps. I know
Mhm.
you don't wanna hear that, y'all are tube amp all the way,
Yeah.
but I think the younger generation, even some of the older generation, that between, the Helix and, quad cortex and, um
Even little practice amps like this thing.
yeah, you didn't talk
Uh,
about
th
that.
yeah, this is the pot made by Positive Grid, what's it called?
Spark.
Spark, yeah. So, thank you, Ian from Sweetwater. It was his suggestion that I get one of these because I just wanted something small I can just go sit wherever I wanted in my house. And I tell you, like, this little thing, I mean, it doesn't even sound digital. It sounds like analog, it sounds like tubes. I mean, it sounds that damn good. It's
Right.
really surprising. So, and it's
Yeah.
5 watts, this little thing right here, but, yeah, really, really impressive. So
Yeah.
technology's really come a long way, um, but,
Yeah,
yeah,
that
you're probably
that's what I think
I would say you're right on, but there's still, it's like, the young people that want old, tube amps,
yeah.
and it's just like, the kids that are into vinyl, they wanna,
Mhm.
they don't want the CD, they want the vinyl,
Right,
and,
right.
so there's still a market for it, and, but yeah, technology is definitely on the rise. That's for
Yeah,
sure. They've
yeah,
gotten better. It's just like with recording. When digital recording first came out, um, it wasn't as good, and
right.
it's really come a far way as far as
Yeah.
recording albums. So
Yeah, that's true. And I think there's always gonna be a place for tube amps, and, I told the story a couple weeks ago where I forget who it was, he was trying out these guitars with these pickups, and I was like, "Damn, those pickups sound good." Then the next guitar, that and I realized it was my amp. Because sometimes, after working on guitars all day, you don't wanna go out and mess around with the amp, so I just play through the Fractal, and sometimes I play through that a lot, and then when I go through the amp like, when you were on it today, I was like, "Oh my god, thing sounds
yeah, yeah.
good." I mean, there is a big difference. I'm
Mhm.
gonna catch up on the, Dave Mustaine Les Paul 24 frets, 25.5 scales, shaved heels, has been teased since 2022. Gibson's dragging their butts. And then I see Evan, because I think I already got the sounds awesome. My mom's boyfriend has one. Gibson Mustang. Kicks ass. Gonna play it a little. Oh, yeah, there you go. Enjoy that.
Mhm.
Then I agree. Don't eat me up in the comments.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like, the bad thing is now these are going out like, everybody here heard the context of the conversation, but now we're doing more on shorts, and they go out to a different audience, and some
Mhm.
people don't like what I say, which I think is hilarious because I think I'm funny.
Yeah, I
Right.
would agree with you, Evan.
They're not going anywhere. Yeah, and I think if they keep it in context, I don't think they're going anywhere either. But the other stuff's getting really good. I'd rather
Yeah,
see. Oh,
and there's some great solid state amps, no doubt.
yeah, and you know what? There's ways of you hear everybody talking about tube amps and pushing air and things like that, and there's ways that you can combine those two worlds.
Mhm.
So, and I think the more that they combine those two worlds, the better off we're all going to be.
Mhm.
I
Sure.
think that the two they're already doing it, like I said, but those two worlds, you get them to collide in the right circumstances. Tube amps may have problems, but
Yeah.
anyways, that I think that was a lot of info. I mean, I have some, but we'll save it for we may or may not next week. You all tell us. So we are greetings from Indonesia. Man, long
Hey,
distance.
thanks
Thanks
for
for joining. Please subscribe, like and subscribe. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. And we talk about Indonesian guitars a lot.
Yeah, yeah. I got one right behind me that's a
Yeah,
fantastic instrument that I've been playing like crazy lately.
great guitars.
Yeah.
So we have talked that you all can tell us if we're off base on this. I sometimes the next show would be Christmas. We're going to skip that. The next one will be New Year's Day, which in my opinion, New Year's Day is probably one of the most boring days of the year.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about it beforehand. We may be back on New Year's Day or New Year's night at
Yeah.
9:30 and knock a show out and just talk about what Santa
Mhm.
brought us,
Yeah.
I guess. And we have some stuff we have some stuff on deck to talk about with like Wild Audio and Uno guitars and all that kind of stuff. So
Mhm. Yep.
we're kind of getting late. So if nobody has you have anything else, Alex?
No,
We
that's
covered
it.
it all? I think we
Happy
covered it all.
holidays, everybody, and be
Absolutely.
safe. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. He
Yep.
said, I'm out of here. And thanks, guys. Thank you. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Happy holidays.
Yep. Have a good night.